Hello, hello, thank you for checking in. It is Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. I had to stop for a minute. I forgot what day it was. Thank you for checking in. Great to see everybody. Let me say hello to Allura Star and Shocker and Sturgis Guy and Tesis and House of Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Philip and Mark Mean and Star Raven and Angie Jonas, Angie Tomlinson and Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl and Azure Yusuf and the Creme and Marcel and Jim Dandy and Bill Knaus and Scott Kimmis and Joe Barney and Red Stapler and John McCain and Terry Sue and Brett and N1QOV and Cosmic Joe and Sam and St. Clinton and Boot and Swede and Red Stapler and Phil Chandler, Wing Doggy. Hello. Hello. Hi, Linda. Great to see everybody. Thank you for checking in. I hope everything's loading smoothly now. You're all able to sign in, no problems. Just making sure no changes. Just as I was checking and putting the links up, there's a thing on my Twitter that says after April 15th, TweetDeck for Windows won't be working. I don't know what that is, but that puts a crimp in my universe. Use it one of my Chrome. I know. Oh, why do they keep changing things? Why do they keep changing things? Oh, goodness. I'm having trouble adapting. Hi, Angie. Thank you for checking in. Great to see everybody. So, sorry wasn't here yesterday, but a lot seems like it's happened in the past 2 days. Hello. I'm very scary stuff in Europe and Belgium. More bombs. Makes everybody terrified. Bombs in Belgium in the airport and in the train station. And I, yesterday, had a very challenging day. I had to go down to report for jury duty. I think I told you guys about that. And it was a very long day. Very challenging for I wasn't quite ready for as challenging as it would be with my post-traumatic stress. Because everyone says, oh, you go down with a bunch of people, you're not going to get picked. No, I was immediately picked. And normally they just ask you a few questions and they screen everybody and then pick, 8 or 12 jurors or something. No, they picked 8 of us right off the bat in the morning. We were in the jury box on the stand, like being questioned, like testifying all day long. And I was freaking out. By the end of the day, I was like shaking. I couldn't stop shaking. I thought I was going to throw up. I was like having an anxiety attack and like on the verge of tears. It was, and finally and they were going to pick me. They'd spent all day interviewing. Everybody else was just sitting there watching. They hadn't interviewed any other people. They just only interviewed the first random 8 people. And I finally told the judge, I'm like, I don't think I'm like mentally like fit to do this because I'm about to have a breakdown and we haven't even gone to trial. And they're like, it might be like 5 or 6 days of trial and several days of deliberating. And everyone there was like very strong and aggressive. And they're like, I'm a manager and I'm in charge. And I was like, no, Wing Doggy, they were going to pick me. I had to tell the judge that they were. Thank you, Angie. We were on the stand with a microphone, and normally, I like being on the stand and having a microphone, but not in this instance. I thought I was going to die. I was being interviewed about police and cops and bad cops, one of those things that I'm like, I've kind of had good experiences and bad experiences, and we all know on the internet there's lots of bad experiences that we're seeing videos of. And I was like, oh gosh, I was like, you're way too close to home, and like asking a lot of questions that were like relating to my case coming up and cops and stuff. So it was very challenging. So it was, hello, hi, Kata. Wait, am I saying that wrong? I'm probably saying that wrong. So, Kata, thanks for checking in. Great to see you. What part of the world are you in? Oh, and Linda says, what happened? Well, finally, it wasn't until the end of the day. It was almost 5 o'clock. We were there all day. I hadn't eaten anything, and they're like, okay, any last things you want to tell the judge? And I had to do a sidebar with the judge, and then there was like 8 lawyers around me, and I had to talk into this little thing and tell them because I had already told them about my stuff and being post-traumatic stress. They wouldn't give me a medical excuse because I'd postponed from the year before, and I had to explain that I talk about medications and talk about therapy and everything with these people. Oh goodness, I was like, by the time I finished talking to them, I was like having a panic attack. I was like almost crying. I was like, so finally the judge was the one, because the other people were ready to pick me, because I think they just were like, it was the end of the day. They hadn't interviewed anyone else, and they were supposed to pick 8 people, and they only talked to 8 people. They're supposed to pick like 9 or plus alternates. They didn't talk to anyone else all day. It was very thorough. And so the judge excused me. The judge says, I would like to excuse this viewer, and they're like, okay. But otherwise, I would have been like 2 weeks. Yeah, and it was, I had to walk from where you park to where the court is. It was like 5 blocks, and I told you I hurt my foot. I don't think you can see. See that spot in the middle of my foot? It's kind of faint. It's in person. It's much darker. I have that's a black and blue on the bottom of my foot, and you can't really see on the camera, but my whole toe is all purple here and on the side, and this toe, and then over here, like my whole foot is purple, and the bottom of my foot, and I was like limping, 5 blocks of limping. The top side isn't showing in the light. You can't really see, but it's very purple. No, I didn't have that checked, though it's better. It's less, each day it's gotten a little easier to walk. I sprained it. It's not broken. I sprained it, basically. So, and it's gotten a little bit better, but it's swollen. It's a soft tissue sprain in my foot, so I'm not worried about that. But I did see the doctor, and I got some medicine because I was getting an infection from the stress. I was having 2 weeks of nightmares and not sleeping. I didn't sleep for like 3 nights because of the jury duty thing. And then I got home, and I hadn't eaten all day, and I was so like panicked. I couldn't sleep. I just ate a bag of chips and jelly beans, and that's like what I ate for food during the day. Like, yesterday was not a good day. I did not take care of myself very well. But I'm doing better today. And so I rescheduled my doctor's appointment for today, and I have to reschedule my therapist appointment. They were like, oh, don't worry, you probably won't get picked. Of course, not only did I get picked, but I was like on the stand all day long. Sturgis guy suggests I start drinking heavily, and the whole time before we went for like an hour and a half in the morning, maybe 2 hours in the morning, because we went down to the courtroom about like 10:30, but we had to get there at 7:45. So they did an orientation, and then they had the TV news for like almost 2 hours of that whole, like the ongoing live report of everything in Belgium. So that was like, everything was like stress, 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 fear, 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 fear. I'm like, ah! So I'm feeling better today. Yeah, Linda says good practice. Yes, it was good practice. It was almost like I was being on trial for my trial. It was really much more practice than you would have expected for my own trial, because I was like there on the trial with the audience of people and a microphone talking about personal stuff. Sturgis guy says he would have a breakdown if he had to go through that too. Yeah, it was, and then the microphone broke. They had us all sitting in there were 8 of us in the jury box, and the microphone stopped working. So then we had to go up to the stand in the middle and talk on the microphone to the judge, and there were like 6 lawyers on one side and like 6 lawyers on the other side, plus the guy that was having the suit, and then they were going to be calling all these cops in and like tell us about the case. They didn't actually tell us about the case. The jury selection, they didn't tell us about the case or or anything, but they did say they wanted to know a lot about your experience with police, attitudes about police, because as somebody was making a claim against the police and civil liberties or something like that. But that's all they told us. So they didn't tell us what happened or anything, who did what or who said what. But they asked us lots and lots of questions about crime and groups you belong to and political views and your views about cops and all kinds of like personal stuff. Yeah, not a criminal trial, but a trial that would have had a lot of cops in it and people testifying against cops. And I was like, ah. So yeah, but that's all I know about it. They didn't actually talk about. Wait, Linda said the poor cop that didn't do anything? What? I don't know which one that is. And then I come home today and I retweeted, there was 4, I am so angry because you keep seeing, I know everybody's seeing all this bad stuff. Linda said if they didn't do anything wrong. Well, Linda, maybe they did, though. I don't know. They didn't tell us any of the details, so I have no idea what happened. I have no idea who did what, who said what. They didn't tell us anything about the case, so I can't say anything about it because I don't know. But just today I saw a postman was delivering mail in New York, outside of the city somewhere. I forget what town. Postman, your mailman, delivering mail. A car an unmarked cop car with out of uniforms, undercover cops, almost crashes into him. So he yells out the window, "Hey, you jerks!" You know, he yells at him. They pull him over and arrest him. And he's on camera. People taped him because they're arresting a mailman. They're like, "Do you have an ID?" He's like, "I'm the mailman." Yeah, it's in my mail truck. They arrest him, and now they're in trouble because it's on. Yeah, it was on, like, it's taped that they're like arresting the mailman, so he can't deliver the mail, leaving the mail truck there, and yeah, and he's on tape they're like, stop resisting, and the mailman's going, I'm not resisting, and they're like, yes you are, stop resisting, and he's on tape just standing there, and they're saying stop resisting. They're like, he's like, yeah, so now they're in trouble. The cops are in trouble because that's not allowed. You're not supposed to do that. They were the ones who, so there's, that's why it's weird. So yeah, it's scary, Linda, because you don't know. There's good cops and bad cops. I don't know. I've met good ones and bad ones. Well, David Jones says it's against the law to interrupt the U.S. mail. Well, it's also against the law to harass, and you can't arrest somebody for just like saying, for yelling at you. That's not a crime. It's not a crime to yell at you. That's not against the law. And so you can't just like be a bully and arrest people and make up things. You can't just be a cop and walk down the street and just arrest people because they said something you didn't like. You're allowed to say things. And especially when they were the ones at fault. They're the ones that almost crashed into him. And then they're arresting a mailman. That's obvious bullying. Who arrests a mailman delivering mail while he's delivering mail? So that made me mad. I'm like, why are they wasting? These cops are bad cops. Those are the same guys that are gonna. Those same cops are the same guys that are gonna harass people. They, you know, if they're doing that to a mailman, what are they gonna do to regular people? If they're gonna do that to a mailman, and they're not even in uniform, they're not in a regular cop car. They're in plain clothes. So if they would do that to a mailman, what kind of power trip are they on? Those are bad cops. They just think that they're like bullies. So that scares me, Linda. Because hi, Max Fernandez. Hello. Max Fernandez in Europe, sending lots of love to you. I think you're in the Netherlands, right? So, and that bad cop that arrested Sandra Bland, who was on tape lying and making all this stuff up, and then the girl, she ended up killing herself. She shouldn't have been in jail. That guy is he's been fired, and he's going to trial. So that guy was a really bad guy too. He was like yelling at her and starting a fight and threatening her. So, and then lying about it. Yeah, Linda, yeah, how would the postman even know they're really cops? Max is in the Netherlands. Max, how's everybody feeling in the Netherlands with all the craziness in Belgium? Are y'all feeling kind of nervous and you know, because you're pretty close to Belgium, you're right there. How's everybody in the Netherlands feeling? Are you shaken up? Max says it's crazy. Yeah, I sent my friends in Belgium emails too. But, I mean, the point of terrorism is to freak people out, and that's what it does. You know, it makes a big noise, and I think like 30-some people were killed in between the two bombs, and you know, like 250 people injured approximately. But more than that, more than that is the shock it sends around the world. It's a shock wave of fear around the world. That's the point of terrorism. It's not just like to kill 30 people. It's to freak out the world. But part of what you have to do to not respond to it is not freak out, because that's exactly what they're trying to do. Like, you have to do smart things to protect your people and do security and intelligence, but you can't let the terrorists get their whole goal of trying to freak out the world, because that's how they're trying to control you. So, and you know, you see it all around the world, and it's not just ISIS terrorists. There's local terrorists, there's homegrown terrorists, there's domestic terrorists, there's foreign terrorists, there's all kinds of people. Anyone who, takes a gun into a public place or causes a commotion. So, like, even, we see in, like, practically every day in the U.S., you see somebody, like, takes a gun to a public place and starts shooting, 4 or 5 people or something. That's terrorism, too. Yeah, and it freaks people out because it's a major airport. You can't secure like places like entryways to buses and airports and subways, because people still have to get in and out before they actually get to the ticket place. So that scares people too, because you can't secure every single part of the world. And you have to balance security and getting the information with freedom and privacy and being able to move around. And it's sometimes it's tricky. Oh, good, Wing Doggy. So yeah, so we're not going to be controlled by terrorists. We might freak out for a little bit, but we're going to keep moving forward. Sturgis Guy says he is canceling his trip to Russia to pick up his mail-order bride. That's probably for the best, Sturgis Guy. I don't think any good will come out of that. Yeah, so yeah, so lots of prayers to Europe and Belgium and everybody. Well, the whole world, basically, because that's such a central hub of, like, all kinds of travel, from international travel all around the world, specifically to freak out the world. We're not going to freak out. That's good, Wing Doggy. I'm glad that you're able to fight corruption, Wing Doggy. Good for you. So anyhow, so that was my day yesterday. So yesterday was a scary day for everybody, I guess. So, oh, and I saw you guys on Monday. I just didn't see you yesterday. But tomorrow is Thursday. So we will definitely have a stupid question day. The genius will be here. And Max Fernandez, very good to see you. We haven't seen you in a long time. Very good to see you, Max Fernandez. When is the girl cleaning scheduled? I don't know. Yeah, and can you believe this Sunday is Easter? So early this year. And there's still some places, I just saw in the news that some places are getting snow. How can you... Linda says where she is. Yes. How can you have snow in Easter? Why is Easter so early? There should not be a threat of snow during Easter. You're supposed to wear Easter dresses and cute Easter clothes. So, oh well. Anyhow, so that that's that. Anyhow, so tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is stupid question day in particular. So that's what I have to say for today. So I'm just about to sign off, but I will be back tomorrow, and I hope everybody will be safe and happy until tomorrow. Thank you, Wing Doggy, and it's really great to see you back, Max Fernandez. So let me say goodbye to everybody. Allura Star and Shocker and Stardust Guy and Tesis and House of Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Phil Chandler and Mark Mean and Star Raven and Angie Tomlinson and Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl and Azure Yusuf and the Creme and Marcel and Jim Dandy and Bill Knaus and Scott Kimmis and Joe Barney and Red Stapler and John McCain and Terry Sue and Brett and Philip Chandler and Sam and St. Clinton and Max Fernandez and N1QOV and Cosmic Joe and Joe Barney and Jay Dahlman and Boot and Swede. Thank you so much for checking in. Let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. All right, this is for everybody. I love you. Peace and happiness to everybody. Bye. I love you all. Bye.